Viewer discretion is advised. This series covers real events involving violence, crime and strong language that some viewers may find distressing. The content is intended for mature audiences. Please proceed with caution. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank all of you, my viewers, especially those of you who have subscribed. I don't receive any financial compensation for these videos. I create them because I love the stories and I enjoy sharing them with you. Your support means the world to me. Without you, I'd just be talking to myself, something I only do on occasion. So thank you for keeping these stories alive and for giving me a reason to tell them. Welcome back to London's Dark Archives, where we explore the hidden layers of London's most infamous criminal histories. Today we're focusing on a man often overshadowed by his notorious younger brothers, Charles James Kray, better known as Charlie. While the twins, Ronnie and Reggie, made headlines with their violent exploits, Charlie's quieter but equally important contributions to their empire often go unrecognised. From his early life to his relationships, his time in the military and his role as a respected figure in the criminal underworld, Charlie's story is a crucial part of the Kray legacy. But was he more than just a legitimate face of the firm? Let's find out. Born on July 9th, 1927, Charlie was the first child of Violet and Charles Kray. Growing up in the poverty-stricken streets of the East End, he faced the brunt of the hardships that defined the Kray family's early years. The East End in the 1930s was a world of struggle and survival, shaped by economic depression and a culture of close-knit working-class communities. Charlie's father, otherwise known as Big Charlie, was a charming but unreliable figure, frequently absent to avoid creditors and military service. As the eldest child, young Charlie often stepped into the role of man of the house, helping his mother Violet care for his siblings. This responsibility would become a defining feature of Charlie's life, and his loyalty to his family remained unshakable. Unlike Ronnie and Reggie, who would later revel in their rebellious streaks, Charlie was known as a thoughtful and pragmatic boy. He was a decent student and even showed an early interest in business, running errands for local traders to earn pocket money. Despite the family's struggles, Violet was determined to instill a sense of pride and ambition in their children, qualities Charlie absorbed deeply. When Ronnie and Reggie were born in 1933, Charlie's world changed significantly. The arrival of the twins brought added financial pressure, but also gave Charlie a unique position within the family. As the older brother, he became a mentor and protector of the twins, often taking the blame when they got into trouble. The twins' strong bond with each other sometimes left Charlie feeling like an outsider, but he was always there when they needed him. This dynamic would later play out in their adult lives, with Charlie acting as the bridge between the volatile twins and the outside world. While the twins were drawn to excitement and chaos, Charlie remained grounded, often mediating disputes and keeping the family unit intact. Charlie's life took a pivotal turn when he joined the Royal Navy after World War II. Service in the Navy offered an escape from the poverty of the East End and gave him a taste of discipline and structure. However, his time in the military was cut short due to medical discharge, a disappointment that brought him back to London with uncertain prospects. During this time, Charlie stepped in the world of boxing, a sport that was deeply rooted in East End culture and one his brothers also engaged in. Although he didn't achieve the same level of fame in the ring as Ronnie and Reggie, he gained a reputation as a tough and skilled fighter. For Charlie, boxing was more than just a sport. It was a means to earn respect and establish connections in a landscape where physical strength was as important as business savvy. Through boxing, Charlie began to form relationships with influential figures in the criminal underworld. These connections would later prove invaluable as the Krays expanded their operations. For him, the ring was not just about fighting, it was about building a network. After his discharge from the Navy, Charlie took on various jobs to support his family. He worked as a cab driver, a labourer, and even dabbled in running a cafe. These early ventures gave him a taste of entrepreneurship, but they also exposed the limitations of legitimate work in post-war economy. The East End was still reeling from the devastation of the Blitz, and opportunities were scarce. During this time, Charlie met and married his first wife, Dolly, with whom he had his only child, Garry. Tragically, Garry's life was cut short in 1996 due to illness. This heartbreaking loss deeply affected Charlie, highlighting the personal costs of the Kray family tumultuous lifestyle. As the twins began dabbling in small-time crime, extorting local businesses and running protection rackets, Charlie initially stayed on the sidelines. However, his pragmatic nature and growing network of contacts made him an invaluable asset to their burgeoning empire. While Ronnie and Reggie built their reputations on violence and intimidation, Charlie was the firm's diplomat and strategist. He managed the Krays clubs, liaised with legitimate business figures, and acted as a buffer between the twins and the authorities. His calm demeanour and charm opened doors that Ronnie and Reggie's reputations would have slammed shut. But Charlie weren't just the clean face of the operation. He was deeply involved in the financial side of the firm, handling money laundering, securing deals, and managing the logistics of their enterprises. He was also a well-respected fence, dealing in stolen goods and using his connections to ensure smooth operations across the firm's network. Charlie's relationship with other underworld figures such as Freddie Foreman further solidified his importance. Foreman, often referred to as the Krays hitman, trusted Charlie implicitly, and the two men worked together on several key ventures. Unlike the twins, whose impulsiveness often led to conflict, Charlie's steady hand kept these alliances intact. Charlie's personal life was as complex as his professional one. He had a number of high-profile relationships, including one with actress Barbara Windsor, though the nature of their connection remains subject to speculation. What is clear is that Charlie had a knack for charming people from all walks of life, a trait that served him well both socially and in business. Despite his involvement in the criminal world, Charlie always sought to balance this with a semblance of normalcy. He was a devoted son to Violet and maintained a close relationship with his siblings, even as their lives grew more dangerous and chaotic. In the grand narrative of the Kray story, Charlie is often portrayed as a peripheral figure, a misconception that couldn't be further from the truth. His role as a mediator, strategist and connector were crucial to the firm's success. While Ronnie and Reggie's notoriety made them the faces of the organisation, it was Charlie who ensured the machine kept running behind the scenes. Charlie's life was not without its tragedies. From the loss of his son to the eventual downfall of the Kray Empire, he faced immense personal and professional challenges, yet his resilience and dedication to his family's legacy remain undeniable. After the fall of the Kray Empire, Charlie sought to carve out a legitimate career for himself. Leveraging his family name for public appearances, during the 80s and 90s he became a regular on the pub and club circuit, speaking about his brothers and their infamous exploits. For many, these events were a chance to hear first-hand accounts of the Kray story, and Charlie's natural charm made him a popular draw. He even dabbled in running nightclubs, following his brother's footsteps, though he had mixed success. However, the shadow of his brother's legacy continued to haunt him. In 1997, investigative journalists working undercover set up a fake drugs deal to entrap Charlie. The operation led to his arrest and subsequent conviction for conspiracy to supply cocaine. Charlie was sentenced to 12 years in prison, an harsh punishment that many believed was influenced more by his surname than by the crime itself. He served 7 years before his release, a man broken not just by the sentence, but by what he saw as a betrayal and exploitation by those who set him up. In his final years, Charlie maintained his innocence in the drugs case and lived a quieter life, spending time with his family and friends. He passed away in 2000, aged 72, from heart complications. Despite his flaws and the shadow of his brothers, many who knew him remembered Charlie as a warm, funny and charismatic man who was unfairly burdened by the weight of his family name. As for my opinion of Charlie Kray, I've always believed he could have found real success if it hadn't been for his brothers. By all accounts, he was a man of charm, warmth and a natural entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, he was an hard man, he was a way of life in the East End, but he was also funny and well liked by those who knew him. To me, he represents the tough but kind-hearted East Enders I grew up around, people with a natural sense of humour and a way of making you feel at home. Sadly, Charlie was cursed by association. The press and the law often treated him as an extension of Ronnie and Reggie, rather than as a man in his own right. I think that was deeply unfair. He didn't deserve to be villainised for their crimes, and in many ways he's one of the more tragic figures in the Kray story, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other videos. Like, Comment and subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to me. I'll see you next time on London's Dark Archives.